Well, it's a good-looking day for a race. Got a little bit of a wind. Hopefully it'll pick a little up just to blow any dust that might be in our way, on our face. So we're in it to finish it, and hopefully pray for the best for myself and all the drivers.
And what position are you starting at?
I am starting out in 78th out of, I think, 113 drivers is what is registered.
What's your name, man?
David McDaniel.
Daniel, and what's your job as a co-driver? What's going through your head right now?
A lot, but we're just going to keep a cool, steady pace, pick good lines to the rocks, and hopefully get the day done with.
Good deal.
So I think not only the line through the rocks, but after the ball haul race, we went out and did a short little run yesterday to pit 1, and we're going to have to also pick our lines in the sand. The ball haul have added another challenge to us. So, but we'll give it our best. Green flag, we hit desert. I felt like we did pretty good. We passed probably 6 cars.
Well, first thing, we get to the starting line, wait a little bit, and the butterflies start to kick in once you get to the starting line, and we take off, and we're feeling really good through the rough part of the desert. Not trying to go too fast, want to keep the car together through the desert loop. Get done with the rough stuff and pick the pace up a little bit and start passing some cars. We get to Cougar Buttes going a little too fast and flip the car over. And then we get it back over and can try to continue. And I made the decision that we're going to slow the race pace down a little bit.
So I went into Cougar Buttes a little fast, a little hot, and picked a new trail due to a car that was where I was at yesterday, and which ended up unfortunately putting me on my top. And in the process of that, broke an axle. So Dave and I spent the next bit of time at Cougar Buttes replacing the passenger side rear axle.
Roll into pit 1B, fuel up, and take back off on a good race pace. Come back into Hammertown, skip through Hammertown, and here we are at Spooners and Outer Limits, making passes on the rocks.
Short course here. Did have a little bit of a mishap on short course. I trailed a car from the end of Loop A into the short course, and when we hit short course, I nailed it to pass him, and unfortunately, I think I ran through the some of the timing machine. I drifted off the course, off the track, and when I turned my wheel, I unfortunately went through some of their equipment. I apologize.
Spooners and Outer Limits, making passes on the rocks. Caught back up to a bottleneck and got around the bottleneck through Spooners, and same thing with Outer Limits. We catch up to another bottleneck. We help a fellow racer out. We winch him back off of a high point, and we get around Tim and continue on with our day. Get to pit 2. Everything's looking good until we pull out and the dash starts to flicker. So we made the decision to turn around, and then it came back on. Everything was fine, so we turned back around and continued on the race course. Come up over a peak of a mountain and start to go down the draw and lose. Our battery had shut off, and we couldn't get the car started. So I run up to the top of the mountain and get signal and get another battery on the way with Waylon Campbell. We get him the battery dropped off, get it put back in to realize we have the wrong battery. Get all the connections fixed and go half a mile with no power steering, and then we're trying to fix the power steering and we couldn't get the power steering, so we made the decision to pull off of the race course right before Chocolate Thunder. If I'm correct, it is a race mile 90 and a half. Pull off the race course and come back to Hammertown to call it quits because the rocks would be impossible without power steering.
Towards Chocolate Thunder, and the car quit on me. Battery, dead battery. I learned that it takes 2 batteries to run that car with that winch and everything else, and so another lesson learned. I guess that's part of racing. The only way you get better is from the mistakes that you make. So I tell you, I wouldn't have been able to drive it back to Hammertown had it not been for my pit crew at 2 and Campbell. Waylon Campbell. Waylon Campbell delivered a battery to me on the track from pit 2. Unfortunately, it was a different battery, so we snipped a couple wires and jumped that battery to my battery, which gave us enough juice to start the car and run the car, but unfortunately I had no power steering. So that's what ended the race at mile marker 90 plus. People to thank, first and foremost, I've got to thank the good Lord above for allowing me the opportunity to do it. My wife, who stands beside me as I go through this endeavor, and my co-driver David is also my son, and who puts up with me and helps me along the way too, as well as Tony White, a lifelong friend.
Hi, Tony White from Bentonville, Arkansas. I prep and pit for McDaniel Racing 7665. Job is to get the car ready before the races, whether it be in Tennessee, Kentucky, or California. Oklahoma. We get it ready. We spend a lot of time over in the shop getting it ready, and when we get here, we spend a lot of time looking it over, getting it back, fixing the pre-runner, or if it gets torn up, be at the pit, ready and waiting whenever they call us for what they need. And we were today was kind of an easy pit. We didn't do anything but fuel up. We got lucky with Waylon Campbell taking a battery to them. We need to pretty easy day for a pit. I think we need to upgrade our communications. Several times when they get into a hauler, I couldn't reach them. I could hear them, but I don't think that they could hear me, and vice versa. I think that the 2 times they were broke down, I couldn't hear them. The 2 times that they were down with the battery and with the broke axle, I was unable to know what was going on. So I think we need to do some work there. This year wasn't bad. The year before last, I couldn't tell you. A lot of hours, you know.
But was it worth it?
Oh, it's worth it. I mean, it's great to come out here. It's a good time, and I'm with a team that endurance, and they're not gonna quit this until they cross that line. I've been lucky this year to include my son. He gets to come over here and help a little bit now whenever they're off during work days. I think he at work. My daughter, this is her 3rd year being here. She's been here with me every year. She's got to play a little bit of role out in the pit, and Haley, she's got to play a little role in the pit today, helping with the fire extinguisher and putting the cone on the car to let them know when to stop and when to go. Corbin, he got a little experience of fueling just about everybody in the pit, all the teams. So
It's a family affair, isn't it?
it's turned into a little bit of a family affair, and I consider the McDaniels a family, so it is a family affair.
People that have helped me along the way. MRT tires, I think they're a good tire. I think that they grip, they go. They're a lighter tire than some of the other ones. I've got Freedom Power Sports back home that even while my car was not acting right, I call Quentin at Freedom Power Sports and he helps me troubleshoot some things. I call Quentin at Freedom Power Sports on my diff on my pre-runner, so I've got them to thank.
I'll definitely be back to your hammers.
Well, I'm not one to let anything get over on me, and I ain't beat it yet, so I'm gonna beat it. I'll definitely be back to the KOH.